Oh, yeah, that's right. We were told by the people at church that we had to entertain you for a moment. So let's start with that. Hey, Tony, why did the chicken cross the road?
To show the armadillo that it could be done.
Now we're supposed to laugh, right?
And if you're not from Texas, you won't understand, but there's a lot of dead armadillos buried along the roadsides all over the place.
I know our entertainment's a little lame sometimes.
Send us some good jokes. We'll see if we can pull those into our stories.
Yeah, I could tell you a good joke, but they're really long, so you probably get tired of listening to it. But we would like to hear from you about this whole beginning of the thing about entertainment. Tony plays a squeeze box, I play guitar. If that's something that you'd like to hear, let us know and we'll put a little jingle together and maybe see what you think about that. Or if you just want to hear jokes, Tony's got some good ones.
We can find some good ones. There's some of them you can even tell in church.
Yeah, some.
All right. Are you ready to get started?
I am ready. I'm excited about today. Today we're going to actually talk about the product that you and I came up with nearly 12 years ago.
Yeah, 12 plus?
Yeah, 12 plus years ago. And just to remind the audience, you want to tell them why we came up with this?
So Mark and I would meet at church and we'd laugh and say, were the raccoons at your house this weekend? Because we live, maybe 5-6 miles apart. Were they at your house or were they at my house? Or was there a shuttle bus that's come in sending them back and forth? Because we'd usually get about 2 eggs out of raising chickens before the chicken be killed and we'd have to start again.
It came out to be like a $200 breakfast after a while.
Really frustrating.
Yeah.
Because, I can't tell you, there's this moment in time where you go from conscious laying in bed to popped up saying, I forgot to close the coop. And you're running outside in the rain or cold or hot. And
normally in your pajamas.
Well, whatever you got.
Or less.
I'm out in the countryside, so no one can see me, thank God. But yeah, that kind of got old and tiresome, or even worse, forgetting and not knowing until the next day.
Oh, one time my wife and I were at the movies, and it was this, I forgot the name of the movie, but we'd been wanting to see this for a long time. The movie had just started, and she turned to me and goes, "Did you close the chicken coop?" Well,
why would she be mean like that?
I know, why would she be mean like that? Of course I hadn't, and we had to take a chance. Do we see the movie or do we run home? Well, we decided to watch the movie, and fortunately nothing happened, but it could have.
Yep. We joke that modern slavery is still strong because we are slaves to our chickens. We've got to be there to let them out or they grump. We've got to be there to lock them up or they get eaten. And, how can you have a social life, even us old farts, if you're tied to home, that time in the morning, that time in the evening? So we knew there was a huge need. And way back when, man, there was 1 or 2 doors out there that were pieces of plywood stuck together.
Oh, it took a wheelbarrow of parts. Remember that? Yeah, we were looking for something to buy, and we found something on the internet, and the guy literally had it in a wheelbarrow with hammers, saws, and screwdrivers, and it must have been 30 pounds worth of parts.
There was a little string that it pulled.
There was a string that pulled.
Yep.
And, you need to be an engineer just to put it together.
Well, you need to be an engineer to maintain it working. Would be a bigger problem. Yeah. So that's how we started, and we sat down and said, what would we want in the perfect chicken door? And it took us about 6 months of taking the design and changing and tweaking and so forth to get to something that, okay, we know this is going to work.
And you guys that are watching, you guys helped a lot, because as you bought our product, you would really call us up with some really great ideas that we hadn't thought of. And so we incorporated a lot of that in the design changes over the last 12 years to the point where we very rarely get those calls. But every now and then we still do, and we're still able to make tweaks. But what you see here now is a culmination of your input and us just being desperate because we got tired of feeding the raccoons. So, but with that in mind, we've had a lot of questions over the last several years about the function of our door. Now, the first couple of videos, we just introduced ourselves and everybody that we work with, and so we thought today that we would just talk about our product and maybe clear up some of those questions you may have as far as connection and programming and all of that. So, Tony, you want to take it over from here?
All of our doors run off of a 12-volt source, and it can be a battery or a plug-in or whatever you want. Hook it up to the battery. First thing it does is the reset. Opens a few inches, stops, closes. And if you look at it, it'll be hard to see, but where that green circle is, there's a little light that shines. it reads the battery. If it's green, your battery's good. If it's red, your battery's low. It takes a few seconds after that, and then it reads the photo sensor, and if it's daytime, it'll open up. And you don't have to do any programming with it. It automatically will open every morning at dawn, every evening close at dusk, and the only real maintenance is this bottom hinge. Put a drop of oil on that every few months, and you're good to go.
Now, Tony, when you were designing this circuit, you had a need because the door was closing too early at night for all your young birds.
Yep, and later I got
so
some ducks.
You actually had a need for that, and explain to them how you changed the circuit so that you could solve that problem.
Yep. So this is the cover on your box. Inside's the control board, and it's hard to see, but there's 4 little dip switches here. You can delay the opening or closing time separately by 30, 60, or 90 minutes. So if you've got some young birds, they're like teenagers. They stay out late, they party, they don't, the door closes and they're locked out. Now all of our doors do what we call second chance, and that means that when it closes, a minute and a half later, it'll open up, stay open just for 10 seconds, and then close and stay closed for the evening.
Yeah.
So if there's a stray out, it'll let them come in.
Now I know some people who have messed with these dip switches. They take everything apart correctly, but they forget to unplug the power. And so when they move the switch, it doesn't do anything. Can you explain to them why that is?
So the circuit only reads those switches when it first powers on. So if you flip the switches, you don't do a power cycle, and the easiest power cycle right here at the board, and everything on here is labeled, top connector's power. Unplug that, wait 10 seconds, plug it back in, it'll read those switches, and it'll be off and running.
Now we got to make sure we plug it into the right plug. We just had an issue this past week where somebody had put the power where the motor should have been plugged in, and of course there was a meltdown, just as you would expect. So tell them how they can tell the difference.
Yeah, so at the top of here is the white cable. It's a white cable, as you can see over here, for power, and it's a white plug. The motor has a black cable that goes into a black connector, and everything down here is labeled motor. Up here it's labeled power. The middle connector is the photo sensor, and that's actually a bigger 3-pin connector. So it should be pretty straightforward, but you do need to take a look at that.
Good. Now, when you first apply power, if you have a photo sensor, does it default to the photo sensor?
Yes.
Does
With
it do
the
it every
sensor,
time?
every time when it first powers up, it defaults into photo sensor mode. Now, if you want to override that, and let's say your girls are playing Easter, and they're putting eggs everywhere throughout the morning, so you're not going to let them out till noon. I call that jail time. So what you would do is, and you can do this in the evening, go out there, hold a magnet, and it's going to feel like you're holding it for 15 minutes. We live in a hurry-up world.
We do.
But really, after it closes, it's 15 seconds.
And I find that that's easier to start this procedure from the open position. You can do it from any position, but I find it easier from the open position.
Yep. When it opens a little bit in a few more seconds, take away the magnet. And of course, this is where it feels like 15 minutes. There it goes. Take away the magnet. It opens those few inches. It closes. That is what we call a magnet reset, because you've reset the circuit using the magnet. At this point, the photo sensor is ignored. You don't have to unplug it. You don't have to mess with it. It's now ignored. If you do a power cycle, it'll go back into sensor mode. But right now...
Now, some people don't understand these terms. Power cycle. What's a power cycle?
So when your computer has trouble and your teenager says, "Mom, just turn it off and back on." Yeah, computers are computers, right?
Yeah.
and by the way, when you do that power reset or the magnet reset, see, now I'm using the wrong terms. When you did the magnet reset, it also reset the clock to 0. So tomorrow evening, so what I'm going to do is in the morning come back, you're going to tell it when to open, how far to open. And so let's say in the morning it's now 7:30, I want it to open. As long as I have it here, it's going to keep opening. When I take it away, it stops. It now knows that it wants to open at this time and open this far every day. Now, if I don't do anything else all day, 24 hours, and this thing's plus or minus like 5 seconds a year, so we've got a really accurate clock. But 24 hours after you did the magnet resets, it'll close and stay closed for the evening. Set that as your closing time. And it'll just do the morning opening, morning closing. If you want it to close sooner, just use the magnet. Hold it here for a second or two. It knows how far to close, and it'll set this as its closing time. And in a minute and a half, we'll see it do the second chance. We came up with the name. We're the ones that invented second chance chickens. Open up, give them that 10 seconds, let them go in.
And just about everybody has copied us. But you know, keep in mind that when we first developed these doors, there really wasn't a specifically door designed per se for chickens. Everything about this door is designed just for poultry. You know, ducks and chickens and geese and turkeys and.
Some people use them for goats.
Yeah, some people use, well, the bigger door is for goats. Yeah.
Yep.
Now let's do a little recap on this. I'm just going to talk it through. Now, so if you want to program it, and it's in photosensor mode from the open position starting at night, you would put the magnet on the red circle and just hold it there.
Yep. Yep.
And of course the door is going to close, and you just keep holding it there. And as soon as the door begins to open, very important, begins to open, take the magnet off.
Yep.
And you'll know you did it right if the door continues to open and then closes on its own without you doing anything.
Exactly.
Now, at that point, you just program the closing time, whether you know it or not. Then you come back the next morning when you want it to open, and then you hold the magnet on the red circle until the door's opened as far as you want, and then take it off and you're done. But you cannot use that magnet for 24 hours after you've programmed the opening time, because if you do, it changes everything. So make sure that you wait 24 hours after you finish the programming, and then it'll repeat that. Now, did you notice what the door just did?
Yeah, so this is a second chance. And by the way, one of the things is stays open for about 10 seconds. One of the things with ours, we have torque limiting. So if your chicken's standing here, the door stops, it restarts, it stops, it restarts. You know, it's not going to hurt a chicken.
Yeah.
It'll close. It does this a number of times. It does the whole algorithm, and then there is a limit. It'll close a number of times. At one point, it'll even, like you see now, it'll open up, wait just a little bit, and close again. So there's this whole algorithm's designed to give the chicken every chance it can to get into the coop and be safe for the evening. So there it goes. So yeah, that's part of the whole algorithm of the closing mechanisms. And one thing, and this is for all the guys because we are not capable of reading instructions. We put a label here. Now this is one for the wives, and I'm a little bit of a male chauvinist pig, so well, that's just how it is. But instructions, every few months, put a drop or two of oil on that bottom hinge. That's really the only maintenance you have.
Make sure you use motor oil. WD-40 is a water sufficient. Is that the word?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Water displacement WD.
Water displacement WD. So, don't use WD. You can use it for breaking loose things that are stuck together, but not really for a lubricant. So don't use the WD-40 on that bottom pin, but you can use drops of 3-in-1 oil. Most of us have that. And if you got just an oil can, you can put a couple of drops of oil in there as well. And just make sure you take the magnet, open and close the door a few times, and kind of work it into that pin, and you'll be good to go for a long time. We do sell a lot of door panels, so it is to my advantage for you to not oil it, because it will break off if you don't.
And it'll break right down here.
So yeah, right down there. If that happens, it'll cost you $50 plus $18 in shipping. We do have those in stock, but I'm pretty sure you don't want to spend another $68 on that door when all you have to do is oil it every once in a while.
Yep, yep. The other thing is, these are lead acid batteries, and this battery will run the door for months without any charging. So storms and this and that, it's not an issue.
But you know, running the battery down like that give the battery a premature life.
Correct.
It?
That draining batteries, especially lead acid deep, it will kill the batteries. So we sell a couple different options.
I'd like to kind of show you. We've got this is called a 3-watt solar panel. It comes with a little bracket. You can mount that on your roof and put it at any angle you like, or you can mount it on the side of your coop like this, and then mount it in any angle you like. It comes with a voltage regulator that we make here, and we glue it on the back of it, and it's water sealed, so it won't overcharge your battery. The good thing about our solar panels is that they're the poly.
They're not mono, they're poly.
They're not mono, they're poly, yeah. And so we're not solar panel experts, if you can't tell. But we did do some research, and we bought the better kind that we sell to you, and we modified them by putting this voltage regulator on them. If you just get a generic type solar panel and try to use it, it'll overcook the battery, it'll gas the battery out, could cause a fire, or at the very least it'll just kill your battery. Ours won't do that. So it's very important that you understand that the importance of this voltage regulator. I want to show you how to connect this up, because that seems to be a little bit of a concern for some people. When they first get this, they don't, how does all this stuff plug together? Gosh, I don't know.
But don't forget the fuse.
Yeah. So first thing you do is you get a battery, and you'll get one of these. It's a fuse. And a lot of people are not using the fuse, and I would suggest that if you get your door, please use the fuse. It's a 3 amp fuse, and so put that on the positive lead with the little red one, and then you've got a plug right here. That first thing you'll put your solar panel on. I don't know if you can see this, but this solar panel, if you'll look, it's got a little pigtail connector right here. It's a male tang with a little female tongue. You'll take the female tongue and put it on the battery with the tang pointing up.
Not the fuse.
Oh, the fuse.
See, that's where people get confused.
Oh yeah, I got the wrong battery. If you're not thoroughly confused, you will be by the time this is over. Plug that in there.
And this is the wire going to the door. No! What, you just... We're going to edit this and redo it.
Yeah. Okay, I want to show you guys how to hook all this stuff up, because I know it's been really confusing to some about how all this stuff connects together. And we had to edit this because I connected it wrong the first time, and I blew the fuse. So we had to edit this, and I had to redo this part. So I helped Tony design this thing, and so if I can do it, I guess we all can, right?
That's our target.
That's our target. So we don't want you to blow your fuse, and if you do, it's no worries. You can just go to the hardware store and get another fuse. The first thing you'll do is you'll take your battery, and on the red part of the battery with the red lead where the fuse is, and you'll connect that up just like that. All right? And so it'll look like this, and there won't be anything on the black side. Then you'll take your solar panel, and your solar panel has pigtails on it if you'll look at it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but they've got this that plugs onto the battery, and then they got this little tang that sticks up where your door will plug into. So the first thing you'll do is you'll put the black on the black with the tang sticking up. And then on the back side of the fuse, you'll put the red on the red, again with the tang sticking up. Then you'll take the door, on red, where the tang is, and you'll plug that door on the back of that tang like that. And then the black will be the same thing, and when you do, when I plug this in this time, the door will have a light that'll light up right here, and that'll tell you your battery status.
Now it's going to open and close.
See, there goes the door. It opens a little bit, and then it closes. And then now it's reading the photo sensor, because like we said earlier, when it first powers up, it defaults to the photo sensor. So it's enough light in this room, it thinks it's daylight, so it's opening up. So that's how you connect up the battery. And it doesn't matter what size solar panel you have, they'll all connect the same. We also sell another size solar panel. It's a 5-watt solar panel. And for those of you that live in shady areas or up in the Northwest especially.
Or if you've got 2 doors.
Or if you've got 2 doors, that's right. You're going to want the 5-watt solar panel. It's only $10 more, and instead of worrying about it, it's well worth the $10. So notice we got these little brackets now that we didn't have before. And so now you can take these and just mount that on your coupe, and there you go.
And by the way, if your coupe is in a deep shady spot, our standard solar panel comes with 10 feet of wire. We can make that a 25, 50, or even 100-foot long wire to really reach out and get some sunlight. It's not that it needs, full brightness throughout the day. If you had all morning sun or all evenings, afternoon sun, that would probably be fine for keeping the battery topped off. But if you're under a pine forest, sometimes you need an extra reach.
Now we do have competitors. And over the years, we've seen them come and go. They normally don't last very long because they try to poor boy it. They try to make everything cheap, and they just use pickup parts off of stuff, and they try to make it work, and then they try to sell you a product that they believe is good, and I'm sure they believe that.
Well, I don't know about that, but they sure try to sell it.
Well, they sure want your dollars, that's for sure.
Yep.
And most of the time, these cheaper doors or these things that are people that don't know what they're doing trying to get into the market, they're just really trying to get into your wallet. And so last year, or maybe it was the year before, was it last year?
A couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago, I noticed this really cheap door. And man, you guys were just buying those things like crazy. And we were losing a lot of business. And I was going, well, how can they make this door so cheap? They're selling for like $100.
Yeah.
And when I bought that thing, it took 3 months for it to get here. And I've got that door, and I just want to, maybe you can write in on our website and tell us what you think about this door. You've seen our door. You've seen how stout it is. And
I'm going to sneak in and give you a cheat. This is our motor. It weighs just about 1 pound. This other door weighs 14 ounces total.
it comes in with a little box like this, not much to it. And it, oops.
Oh, that's it.
Oh yeah, that's it. And it's supposed to be secure. I'm not quite sure how it's secure. It's I don't know if you can see this. It's really flimsy plastic.
And they claim it's aluminum.
Yeah, they claim it's aluminum.
Must be high-tech aluminum.
I don't know. It's, I mean, it won't even stay open.
Well, there's some plastic gears in there that if you're not pushing against it, it won't.
Okay.
Well, shoot, now, yeah, now the gears are broken now.
Yeah, we've never even used it, to be honest with you.
Now, here, I'll just take this thing off so to show what this motor looks like. So you can see that motor inside. You can see it's moving around. I'm not sure how it's. Well, let's see.
Here's your door.
Oh, there it is. You can see that motor flopping around.
Here's your door.
Yeah.
It's a good. Hey, that's a musical instrument. We gotta try that.
That's why raccoons can break in. They come in for the music. But what's funny is, look in here and you can see that motor moving around.
Oh, it fell out.
Yeah.
That's great. It literally fell out, folks.
And we haven't abused it. It was actually aligned last time we opened this thing up.
You know, this was made in China, obviously. And, you know, I know China makes some good products. I buy some myself. But, folks, this is not one of them. This is something that's just going to get into your wallet. You're going to end up losing your chickens. You're going to get frustrated and might even break your heart if you're close to your chickens. And a predator will end up eating or killing and leaving them for a massive slaughter for you to clean up the next morning. So with all joking aside, folks, this is not worth the money that you're going to save. So
we had one customer that he had our door on his chicken coop, and he had a bunch of outside cats. And this is actually kind of a funny story. He made a little wooden box, and he bought one of these things to put on the box so it would close so the raccoons wouldn't eat all the cat food at night.
yeah, that's right.
And, well, you know what the raccoons do. They just walk right up, they open up the door, and they were chowing down.
Yeah.
So, first day, second day, he took it and he had put it right by his front door, and, you know, the door's closed, and I'm not sure he had to go back and get something, and he hears something, and he had one of those Ring door cameras.
Okay.
And the raccoon, and this is the funniest video, I need to find this and put this on here. This raccoon walks up, and he's looking straight at, it's almost like he knew where the camera was. And it comes up, and with its front paw, reaches back, and just goes right inside these little grooves, and zoop, pulls open the door. Then the guy hears it, he hears it run out, and the raccoon runs away, but that raccoon was staring right at that camera, and it's frustrating. Plus, these things run on little, you know, what is it, AA batteries. When is your battery going to die? Good luck. With our batteries, normally at minimum 5 years, 7 years.
Now,
I've known people with 9+ years.
Now, most people are not going to be my age doing chickens, but I know there's some of you guys out there, so God bless you. I am myself, so I understand the addiction, to be honest with you. But if you're my age, you remember that the old cars, they had 6-volt batteries in them. And every time it got cold, your car wouldn't start. You had to park it on a hill during the wintertime so you could get a rolling start so you could start your car.
Back when we had manual transmissions.
Back when they had manual transmissions. And so the cars did away with the 6-volt battery because it wasn't enough battery during cold months to do what it was intended to do. This doors are the same way. These little AAA, AA batteries, they're 1.5 volts apiece. They put 3 of them in here, so do the math. You're less than 6 volts by the time you do that, 4.5 actually. So you got 4.5 volts of power versus 12. And I think it just speaks for itself. I don't really have to sell that any more than that. And I'm really, my bag here isn't to really sell you on our door, even though we do need the income. We built this door for ourselves because we were concerned about our chickens getting eaten and killed, and they were getting eaten and killed. And so Tony and I originally built this for ourselves. And it turned out to be just such a wonderful, safe, secure product that we made it available to you. And we want to be as honest and straightforward with you as we possibly can. And that's why we wanted to bring this particular product to you, because it is all over the internet. People are buying this stuff, and their chickens are getting killed and getting eaten faster than they can sell them.
And the simplest way to describe this, it's a plastic door. They call it aluminum, okay. Plastic frame, plastic gears, baby batteries. Our doors, the door's aluminum, powder coated. Frame's aluminum that's, let's finish on that.
It's anodized aluminum.
Anodized aluminum. The only plastic is this box. Our gears in our motor, they're metal.
Stainless steel.
Well, the gears aren't stainless steel.
The shafts are.
All of our screws are stainless steel. Our brass top and bottom is, the hinge point top and bottom is brass. The bottom was actually nickel-plated brass. So, you know, this is materials that, if you live by the coast or whatever your conditions are, it's going to hold up. You take this little piece of plastic, and in 6 months with the sun beating on it,
it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, the only reason why this one looks so good because it's been in the office under my desk.
In the box.
In the box. And so that's the
And the
only
motor
reason.
still broke.
And the motor broke, and it's never even been out of the box except for us to laugh at it. You know, so we were concerned about the competitions while we bought it, and once we got it, we realized it's really no competition. But it is sad that many of you all not knowing any better are buying this thing and end up losing your chickens that you've raised from chicks and actually have become pets to your family.
Just one more example of the quality difference. With this one, it only works off of light level. So you can walk up to it, cover it, and a second or two later, door opens or closes. Take your hand off, and a second or two later, door closes. With our door, it takes about 5 or 10 minutes of a light transition. So let's say your teenage daughter's boyfriend drives up, honks a horn. Of course, she makes him wait a few minutes.
Daddy's going to come out at that point.
Well, the headlights are on. The headlight can be aiming, and our photo sensor is not touched on the door. It's got 10 feet of wire, so you can aim it, you know, away from any street lights or so forth. But even if his car headlights are straight on it for 3, 4, 5 minutes,
it
won't get the door to open. We've got all kinds of delays and features that our competitors they don't have the ability to do. So we offer a quality product. We are not going to compete on price, but
we're
value,
competitively priced.
Well,
for products that are similar in our value.
Yeah, for quality products, you're right. For this thing, we're twice the price of this thing, but you kill 3 or 4 chickens, and the difference is already paid for, and you just have a piece of plastic junk. And
the really sad part is that by the time you've had these chickens for any time, your children or your grandchildren or yourself have gotten attached to the chickens. And you've probably named them and you've gotten used to their personalities, and now you've got to deal with cleaning up the aftermath of a raccoon attack.
Actually, I'll put it a different way. Raising kids and getting them through the teenage years and the pains of that, if you start again with some new chicks, it's like raising your kids all over again, a little quicker.
Yeah, a lot quicker. But
Yep.
I've got a 40-year-old I'm still raising, so I understand. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that kind of completes this particular video. I want to remind you of a few things. We're looking for entertainment that you might be looking for, whether it be jokes or maybe a music that we do, or
if you have questions,
if you got any questions,
things you want us to address. One thing we didn't show today, we also offer a plug-in trickle charger. So with the battery, it'll plug in. If you live in deep pine forest, or you live in the Arctic Circle, that plug-in charger will keep this battery topped off,
So that if you don't want to use a solar panel, you can
Yeah.
use the charger.
Yep, yep. So, we do offer different options. If you have special needs for things, just call us. With the door, you get a little packet, and here's stainless steel screws to mount it, some clips for holding the photo sensor. You got one magnet. We joke the reason people buy the 4-pack of magnets, there's two folks. The first one's like me. They forgot where they put the magnets. Spare parts are handy. Second group are like Mark. You've got grandkids, and these are fun toys for the grandkids because they're really strong. All right.
I want to bring up one other thing. These are the installation notes for that Chinese door. And I got to read this one to you because I just can't believe they would even put this on their installation. Don't drive all the screws too tight. Otherwise, the door will scratch and only open halfway. You can't make this stuff up, man. You really can't. It's just that funky, to be honest with you. So anyway, keep in mind that we are looking for input. We do want to do some entertainment, but we also want to educate you. And next week, we hope to have another informative video that maybe not of our products, but of other products. And we hope to give you a list of coop manufacturers that you can get our door. You can buy a coop complete with our door on it. Many of the coop manufacturers around the country have realized the benefit of putting a quality door on their coop. And they are using our door on many of the high-end coops. So if you're one of those that's watching this and you want to buy a high-end coop and you want it really well constructed, we're going to give you a list of those people that are buying those things from us and do an excellent job in the installation and the support of the door.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Oh, you know what we forgot, Tony?
What did we forget?
And we can't ever do this. We
Thank
did.
God, someday I'm going to learn how to edit these things.
I know. We've always ended with a little bit of the Bible, and we almost walked away from that. We can't be doing that. Our country's a mess right now, and some of you may not agree with that. Some of you think the country's just fine, and for you it might be. But for the majority of Americans right now across our nation, they don't know where to do and where to turn. And I just beg you to seek out the truth of the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ. He is the way, the truth, and the life. And the Bible says that no one comes to the Father except through Him. If you want to discover why you're here on this earth, and you want to have one of the most important discoveries of your life, reading the Bible will help you discover why God created you. And once you discover that and you begin living for that purpose, you'll have joy untold, and you'll have fulfillment that can only be measured in the smile on your face. Does it mean that life is going to be a bed of roses? Not exactly, but it means that you can have joy in those times when you can't find joy. Happiness and joy are not the same thing, but you can be joyful in your misery, knowing that you're being fulfilled doing what God created you to do. So with that in mind, I think we can close now. I just can't end one of these without a little bit of a pep talk. But so if you feel unfulfilled, seek out why God created you and then start living for that purpose.
Amen.
Amen. All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.